Hi everybody and welcome back to Necromancy 101. Today, continuing in the Halloween spirit, I figured I'd tell you guys about curses, and not how to cast curses or anything like that, but how to avoid curses and get out of curses and, stuff like that. Now, some of the things you need to keep in mind about curses is that, there's three things you need to keep in mind. One, they're not permanent. Two, it takes a lot of power to power a curse. And three, the bigger it is, the easier it is for it to fail. So, now I figure I'll start with the first one because the first one's the easiest one to address. Now, everybody has heard of the Red Sox, right? And how they were able to win the World Series, even though they had the curse of the Bambino on them. Well, all right, so if you're not familiar with this, the curse of the Bambino is the Red Sox traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees. And this left a curse on them because of reasons that they would never again win the World Series. And this was made decades ago. And for decades, that held. But a few years ago, Red Sox won the World Series. And some people might say, they beat the curse. And my response is, well, curses fade with potency over time. It's just, you can't stick anything forever. Nothing lasts forever. Especially, and this leads up into another one of my points, is that if you're working against it, because nothing is perfect. So the curse worked because it just inspired lots of little haphazard mistakes. And enough haphazard mistakes built up over time makes you think negative thoughts about things. So you're inclined to do the worst action. Like, oh, I won't get that promotion, so you don't apply for it, even if you were totally qualified and you would have gotten it had you applied. That sort of thing. And when they beat it, one, the curse's potency had just faded, because over time, curses just get weaker. They just lose their oomph until you're able to crack through it. Because, like I said, nothing lasts forever. Now, that doesn't mean it's gone. It's still there. It's just now that the second thing is, it's like now that they've broken it, it's easier to break again. And eventually it'll just crack and fade away. So my second point is that nothing is perfect. And bigger things tend to not work out as well. Like if you want to cast a curse on somebody and it says you'll never be popular, that'll work. Because popularity and things like that it's all mental. It's all in your head. Now, if you wanted to cast a curse that said, nobody in your school will like you at all, that's leaps and bounds harder. Because you're not just affecting one person's mentality, you're affecting a legion of people's mentality. And it simply doesn't fix. It doesn't go. And it'll sputter and die. And you'll look at it and think, oh, why did this person's curse work and this person's curse didn't? It's because you aimed too big. So that's why things like that don't work out. And even with that, it's like you say, I curse you to have pimples on prom night, be covered with pimples. Clearly, you can't force pimples to happen because pimples are a biological thing. You can kind of force them to happen. You can accelerate the growth. But at the same time, you can stop a pimple. You can be ridiculously obsessive about your skin. And you can stop a pimple. You have to be obsessive everywhere, but it's just a night. And long-term curses are harder. Which brings me to the last point, is that curses require power. Lots of it. So oftentimes you'll see people casting curses on Halloween night or something like that, or other special days. Thanksgiving is actually a really great day for casting curses. Don't know where the flip comes, but it's there. But that's why you won't see people like throughout the year casting curses, because it's hard to get the momentum and it's hard to get something to stick. And so when you see like really powerful curses, really well-known curses, they've got the added benefit of the fact that the person casting it is probably a master, and they're also doing it at an ideal time of year. Like, and of course you might say, oh, what about curses that force you to transform into an animal or something? And that's transfiguration magic, and that's a whole other ballpark. Most curses are just vanilla, boring things. So, and if you want to do the transfiguration magic as well as a curse, that's a horse of a different color. You probably, at a certain point, you need to be a professional before you start casting really dangerous curses. But even then, you can fight it back. Because again, mind over matter. Because you can always resist magic if you have enough oomph to it. So there you have it. Some helpful tips about curses. Hope that helped you through the Halloween season. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.